Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video I'm going to show you guys how to crochet this fall winter hat, and as you can see here, this is extremely simple. I use two colors. It's your choice whether you want to use two colors or not. You could just use one solid color, or you can even do multiple colors, like more than two. But this is pretty much how my hat looks like here. I love this hat so much, and I'm excited to wear it when I go out for walks or just like, spending time outside. Since it's the fall time now and soon it's going to be winter, and this is going to be something that I can wear in the winter as well. I love this so much. Anyway, so I'm going to show you guys how to crochet this hat. I'm just going to show you guys other ones that I have also done already. So there's this other one here. If you guys remember my shawl, my scarf from a couple of weeks ago, this was a leftover yarn from that. So I'll show you guys the scarf right here so that you see that it's the same color. So I just made I made a hat that matches it. So the same design, just different colors. And of course, you guys have also seen the infinity scarf that I will also show you guys here that matches this hat as well. So I just kind of went around and matched some of my scarves, infinity scarves and shawls. And I just made all of these hats to match those. So as you can see here, this is the fall color one that I did when I was in BC. The infinity scarf I mean, and then I decided to do the hat for it as well. So the same design. And last but not least, this is the shawl that I did last week, or I believe the week before that. But anyways, all fall colors as you can see here. So this is also really nice and cute. So the changing of the colors here came out really well. But this is also something that I did to match the shawl that I've already done. Anyway, so with that said, this is what I'm going to be showing you guys how to do here. So I wanted to make it a little bit easier with just the two colors. But of course, if you want to do multiple colors, that is up to you as well. So but this is it here. I didn't put any pom-poms in any of my on any of my hats. If you do want to do pom-poms, I would also show the video here about how to make pom-poms with pom-pom makers that I have done in the past. So go ahead and click onto that video so you can see how to make the pom-poms and how to connect it to your hat as well, okay? But for my hats here, I am going pop-on-less, and I'm not going to be putting any on my hats. But of course, feel free to do that for your hat if you want to, okay? All right, so with all of that said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so before we get started, I'm going to show you guys all the materials I used for this project. So as you can see here, I have two colors for the yarn. Okay, this is the same yarn as this, is just a different color, and it's one that I have left over from a previous project. I don't remember the name, but I will look the label up and put it in the description box. So I'll have the colors also in the description box if you want to know what this color is. But the both yarns are from Impeccable by Loops and Threads. For measurements, these are what you have here. So I usually go by yard, so 285 yards. It's a medium, a number 4. Crochet hook recommendation is a 5mm crochet hook. The color is called Sapphire. Okay, and it is 100% acrylic. Okay, so that is for this, and like I said, this is the exact same yarn as this, except the color is different. I will look up the color and put in the description box. I'm going to be using a 6mm crochet hook because I want my hat to be a little bit more fluffy and loose. Okay, so that's up to you. You can use a 5mm that is recommended, or you can do whatever size that you prefer to use. I'm going to be needing a scissors to cut my threads. I'm going to be needing a darning needle to sew my hat together, and of course a tape measure to be able to know what the circumference of your head is, or the head of the person you're making the hat for. Okay, all right, so that's all for that I'm going to be using. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so to get this project started, we're going to start by doing the band of the hat or the toque. Okay, so to do so, we're just going to leave our strand a little bit longer. So we're going to leave a little bit to hang because we're going to use it to connect the band. But so we're going to do something like this. So I'm going to leave that much. Usually leave a little bit extra just for security purposes, because you don't want to run short and then have to connect another one. So we're going to leave that much, and then we're going to start by doing a slip knot. So just going to do slip knot the way you usually do it. like this. Okay. All right, so I have my slip knot. I'm going to start by doing a chain of 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that is my chain of 11 here, and that's going to be for the band. Okay, and then we're going to turn our work this way, and we're going to be working in the back of the chain. So we're gonna skip the very first stitch here right after your where your hook is, and in the second one we're going to go in the back of the chain and do a single crochet stitch, just like that. And then you're going to move on to the next and do a single crochet stitch, and then so on and so forth until you get to the end. So get to the end of this chain and then come back so I can show you how to do the next step. Okay guys, so I have completed my final single crochet stitch here. So at this point you should have 10 stitches all together. Okay, and then we're going to start our row by doing a second row by doing a chain 1, turn your work, and then you're going to do a single crochet stitch in the back loop of the very first stitch right after your chain 1, and then you're going to repeat that in the second stitch. So again, just make sure you're going in the back loop of the stitch, and you're gonna do your single crochet stitches in the back, and this is what's gonna create that nice ripple effect on the band of the hat. Okay, so again, you're gonna do this all the way to the end, which I'm almost there now because as I'm talking I'm actually crocheting as well. And when you get to the end, so as you can see here, I finished my second last stitch by going through the back loop, and in this final stitch here I'm going to go through both loops like that. It just kind of squares off the edges here and it makes it look nice. And that's the end of your second row. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to start the third row, and this is going to be a repeat row until you have the length that you're looking for your band. Okay, so again, you just go in the back. After you do your chain 1 and turn, you just start by doing the single crochet stitch in the back loop, beginning from the very first stitch right after your chain 1. And then just going to continue to do this for as long as you need to have the length of your band, which is also the circumference of your hat. Okay, so this is my third row that I'm just about to finish here. And then now that I'm finished my third row, that's how it should look like. Okay, and so I'm gonna have you guys start this. This is pretty much repeat, so this is a one row repeat for the band. And I'm going to do about 56 to 58 rows total, which is going to be the circumference of my head. The circumference of my head is about 24 inches long. Okay, and this band is gonna be very stretchy, so make sure you kind of account for that as well. So go ahead and do the length that you're looking for. I'm going to do about my 56, and when I'm done that, I'm going to come back and show you guys how to start the next step of that project. Okay, I will see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so I have gone ahead and completed the number of rows that I require for my band for my hat. So that's what it is here. It's about 56 rows altogether. Okay, so both sides look exactly identical. Okay, so now and this is for like I said again, this is for the band of the hat. So we're gonna connect it like this, and this is gonna be where you're pretty much how you're gonna wear it. So it's almost like if this was you just making a headband, and this is where you would be done with it like this. But because we're doing a hat, we're going to be building up like that. And also, like I said, make sure you're doing it very stretchy. So it looks kind of small here, but it's actually a really stretchy pattern. And it's also because we're working in the back loop of the stitches. That way it gives us this space to be able to have it very stretchy, and it helps when you're wearing your hair up, or you just like sometimes you have long hair than short hair. Your hat should be able to fit in any time. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna show you guys how to go on to the next step. So the first thing we're gonna do after that is we're going to sew our hat together, like this part here, to shut it so that we can work up this way. Okay, and that's why I say to leave a string long. So we're going to be bringing our darning needle into the picture here, And I'm gonna put my thread into the darning needle first, and then there you go. And just a word of advice, so when you do your single crochet or any stitch that you go in the back loop and you create these ribbons, you always have a part that is kind of like denty like that, like it looks like it's folding inwards. Okay, and that's how I usually end my work, is I end it on an even row, so that I use the first row and the final row here to kind of combine them like this, and it makes it looks nice. So anyways, it's just a little tip. You don't have to do it like that, but I just prefer to do it like this. And then we're going to join our work here together. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do, as you can see, the thread is attached to the one that is furthest from me. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it to this side and bring it back to the other side. And then I'm gonna pull. And I'm just gonna do one more in that same stitch, just to kind of have extra security right there. And then moving that way, I am going to take the stitch that is the closest to me. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up the stitch that is the furthest from me. So I just don't want to don't want to skip any. So I'm going to pick this one here, which is the closest to me, and then I'm going to pick up the stitch that is the closest, furthest away from me on the other side. And then I'm going to pull to lock that in. Then I'm going to move on to the next stitch here. I'm going to pick up the one that is the closest towards me, and then pick up the one that is furthest from me, and do that, repeat that again. And then you're just going to do this with every stitch until you get to the end. So go ahead and do that. When you get to the end here, oops, just looking for my stitch here. When you get to the end here, come back and we will go ahead and then get started with the next step of this project. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so I have gone ahead and connected my band here, so it's all done. So this is where I just connected it right here. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't look very obvious that you have connected your work there, which is the key, because you want your band to look infinite. Okay, and there you go. So from here, I am just going to leave this here for now, or actually, you know what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna fasten it in. And what I will do, just so I don't have to work it into the work, I'm just going to split this into two, so half like that, and I'm going to pull one from the other side this way, and I'm going to have this here because it's already on this side, and I'm just going to knot it here and then cut it off. Okay, that way when I work on top of these stitches later, it just kind of covers the place that I tied, like here, right here. Okay, I'm gonna do one more knot and then we can cut it off just like that. I'm gonna bring in my scissors and I'm just gonna cut these strings off here. There you go. Okay, now that our work is all joined like this, we're going to now start a row of our hat, building it upwards. Okay, oh, I'm just gonna pull this here. I think I kind of sewed this together. I'm just gonna pull it. I'm gonna bring it in here. Okay, so now that we have our, oh, I'm just gonna cut this string off here as well. Sorry about that. Let's cut this guy off here. Okay, now that we have our work like this, I'm going to start working along the project like this. So I will chain two. So I've already done one. I will chain two, and in that same stitch I'm going to do a double crochet stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to do a third double crochet stitch in that same stitch to make it 3. Okay, then I'm going to skip this stitch here and this stitch here. In this third stitch here, I'm going to do a double crochet stitch, actually a triple crochet stitch in the same, so a cluster of double crochet, so 3 times. Okay, then I'm going to skip these here, and on this one here, and the third one, I'm going to do a cluster of 3 double crochet stitches. Okay, and then I'm going to skip this stitch and this stitch, and in the third stitch here I'm going to do 3 double crochet stitches in the same stitch. Okay, so you kind of get what I'm doing here. I'm just pretty much going to do this. As you can see, this is how it should look like, and I'm going to do this all around until I get back here. Okay, so go ahead and do that. When you get back to the end here, come back to the video and I will show you how to start the next row. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so I have completed this first row of the double crochet clusters, and as you see here, I am just about to join these two edges here. So what I will do is, we have 3 stitches here on top, which is our 3 double crochets here, and in the very first one, which is pretty much on top of the previous double crochet, we just do a slip stitch there like that, so it joins these two parts together, and then we're going to chain 2, and in that same stitch, just right this gap right here, you're going to do 2 more double crochet stitches there. Okay, so 2, because the chain 2 was the first one, so the chain 2 was the first, and then you do 2 more double crochets, and that's how it should look like to start your next row. And then for the next row, you just go right into the gap between the double crochet clusters, and you do 3 double crochets in the same space there. Then you jump right into this next space here, and you do your 3 double crochets in that gap. Okay, so just like that, and I will just show you here, because you will repeat this for a few rows. So this is how it should look like. Okay, so I'm going to do 4 rows total of this cluster. So I have already completed 1. I just started my second, and then so when you finish your second, the last cluster should go right here, and when you do that, then you just connect here with a slip stitch, and then chain 2, and then start your double crochet just like we did this one here. And for mine, I'm going to do 3 rows of the 4 rows of these total. So I'll finish this second and then do third and fourth, and then I will change my color there. So if you want to do just the same color, then you can continue to build up your hat until it's time to kind of reduce, and when it's time to reduce, then you come back to the video so I can show you to reduce. But if you're going to be changing color, then come back after you finish the 4 rows and I'll show you how to change the color. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so I have gone ahead and completed 4 rows of these double crochet clusters here, and as you can see, I'm just about to connect these 2 pieces, and then I'll be able to change the color. Okay, so this is my 4th row here, and I'm just going to connect these 2 pieces by going into that first stitch and doing something like this. But actually, because we're changing the color here, I will undo that part and show you guys how to change the color. So I'm gonna go in like this. Okay, we're gonna stop that right there, and I'm gonna cut the color, cut this color off, or cut the yarn for this color off like that. Okay, and then this is where we're going to bring our gray beige color. It's more like beige than gray. I'm going to change that so I could do a couple of rows with this. So I'm going to show you how to change that really quick, and then I'll have you guys work and do 4 more rows just very similar to these ones. Okay, so now that you have 2 loops on the hook like that, so instead of just doing a slip knot or slip stitch and continuing to shut it off there, I'm going to actually just weave that in like this. Okay, we're gonna pull the blue so we can make it tight here. There you go, make it tight, and then I'm going to do my chain 2, 1, 2, then I'm going to do my 2 extra double crochets here to create the 3 cluster of double crochet there, and then I'm going to move on to the next space. So I'm skipping 3 stitches, and in the 4th space I'm going to do 3 more, skipping 3 stitches. In the 4th space I'm going to do 3 more, And this is pretty much what I'm going to continue to do with this new color for 4 more rows. Okay, so I'm going to continue to do what we just did for 4 more rows, and when that's done, I am going to go ahead and come back so we can change the color back to the blue. And then we're going to do something a little bit different, because at that point we're going to be bringing our hat inward so that we can start to create the finishing top of the hat. Okay, all right, so I'll see you guys when you have finished 4 rows of this new color. And if you're just doing the same color, then you will just do 4 more rows of the same color and then come back so we can do a reduction, some reduction stitches. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so I have completed the 4 rows in this grayish color here. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just about to make a closure here, but because we're changing color again to this navy color or the sapphire, I'm going to pretty much leave it there. So, but so far your work should look something like this. So this is the band of your hat, and then you have this nice and gappy design here that is going to be really nice on fall days or fall evenings and spring. So this should be something that you're making for that, and you could probably wear this in the winter as well because it would be really warm. Okay, so to join this section here and also to change color, I'm just going to go into that first stitch here, and instead of going through to do a slip stitch, I'm going to leave it there so I can change the color. So I'm going to cut this color right here. Okay, put that away, and then I'm going to bring in my this color back here, and I'm going to change that in so we can go ahead and then do about 8 more rows of this, but we're doing less, so the clusters is going to be off just a regular double crochet stitch. Okay, so let me show you how to do that here. So we change the color, we bring this color in like this, chain 2, and then make sure you pull the blue color and this color to make it tight, and then you just go ahead and do another double crochet there. So keep in mind the chain 2 counts as a double crochet, and then you do 1 more, and then you're gonna go right into the next gap here and do 2 more double crochet stitches, and then move on to the next and do 2 more. So from here on we are doing just 2 double crochet stitches per space instead of 3, and this is going to help us reduce the top. So it's going to start kind of reducing, so instead of it building, continuing to build like this, is gonna start to curve in like this. Okay, so you're going to do this pretty much for the next 8 rows. So it's gonna be the same thing here. When you do your final double crochet here, you're going to do a slip stitch right here, and then chain 2, do 2 double crochet stitches here, 2 double crochet stitches, and then just continue to build that up until you have your 8 rows. When you have reached your 8 rows of this new modified design here, then come back and I will show you guys how to just finish the top and shut it up. Okay, so I will see you guys when you have 8 rows of this. And if you're doing the same color, then at this time you just continue to change to with your same color, but you just change the design. Instead of doing 3 double crochets per space, you do 2. Okay, so I hope that is clear. So I will go ahead and do my rows and you do yours, and I will see you guys when I'm back after 8 rows. See you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so I have completed my 8 rows of the double crochet stitch here, and as you can see, we're continuing to reduce our stitches, and eventually we're gonna end up having this shut here. And to do that, I'm going to show you now how to do the next couple of steps. So again here, we're just going to join this section here by doing our slip stitch right here, and then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to start to do just a normal double crochet per stitch. So as you can see here, I just moved right into doing a regular double crochet. We skip the last 2 stitches, and in the third we just do a normal double crochet. Okay, so we're going to do this for the next few stitches until we start to close this section quite a lot, until we have maybe that big of a hole on top, then we're going to stop. So in my case, I believe that is probably going to end up being about 3 or 4 rows, and in your case do the same, but just go as close to the closure of the hat as possible. And when you get there, you're going to come back to the video and I'm going to show you guys how to close the top of the hat, and we should pretty much be done. Okay, so let's do that, and then I'll see you guys when you are coming back to close the top of the hat. See you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and did 3 more rows of just the regular double crochet here, and as you can see, it brought our hat in, and then now we're just kind of closing it in like this, and whatever is left here, we're gonna be able to just close it with a darning needle. Okay, so I did 3 more rows here, so you could probably do more, to be honest. I just don't want it to look too sharp here. So this is enough. Then when I close it up, it's gonna look more something like this. So I wanted to kind of not continue to work on it until this very small hole, but you can if you prefer your hat to look like that. Okay, so to start this section here, so as you can see, this is where we joined the work. I'm just gonna go right into that here and do a slip stitch, and that joins this side and this side to make it the 3rd complete row. And then what I will do here is I will do another slip stitch and just kind of take these off. So I'm gonna cut my yarn somewhere here. Okay, and I'm gonna put the remaining yarn away, and then I'm gonna pull this all through like that and just pull that tight so it kind of closes that section like this. Okay, and now comes the section where we need to use our darning needle. So we're just gonna put the yarn that you cut, or the excess that's connected to the project, and you make sure you cut enough that you have enough to be able to seal the top or close the top there. And you're just going to put your darning, oh, if I can get that through, there you go. And you just do that, and now that you have this like this, what I usually do is I hold it so that the hanging yarn is on my side, and I kind of hold it as if I'm going to be closing it like this, and I just go through to the other side like this and close that and do it one more time, and that closes that middle like that. And then what I do again is I go from this side to the opposite side, so I just literally do a cross and I bring that in and I pull it in. Okay, and then from here on, it's just a game of making sure you're bringing in the yarn from the opposite side to the other side and closing it in. And then I'll go from this opposite side to the other side, just like that. And that brings it in. And the more I do that, the closer I go to the middle, so that it's not too wide. And you just kind of keep closing in your work like that until it's completely shut and it looks nice and even on top. So as you can see, it looks like that. I'm going to do one more here. Seems like there's a little bit of a loose section here. I'm just going to bring that in like this. Okay, and I'm going to do one more here. Okay, so you just kind of sew your work, make it look nice on top here, and that looks like it's good. So I'm just going to, before I take the yarn off, I'm going to make sure I check my work. So that's the top there. And as you can see, that's how it should look like. This is the other side of it. Okay, and so now that I'm satisfied with the closure here, okay, I could probably just do a little bit more here. Okay, so it's up to you how much you want to do here for the closure, or how tight you want to do it. Okay, and that's it. Now that I have that nicely closed here, I'm just gonna do something again here just to make sure it's nicely closed. I'm gonna pull it, and then I'm gonna take this yarn to the opposite side, which is the inside of the hat, so I can kind of weave it in there. So I'm just gonna pull it to this side like that, and then I'm going to cut this yarn off here. Okay, And then what you will do here is you will weave in this section here. This is the inside of your hat, so you will see where we change the color as well. There's this section here, there's this section here. Make sure you weave those sections in. And when everything is nicely weaved in, this is how your hat should look like, okay? So that is pretty much it here. So I hope you will enjoy wearing your hat during this cold season. And thank you so much for joining me for this project. And as usual, if you haven't yet subscribed to the video, please don't forget to do so before you click off. Make sure you like the video as well. Comment if you need to ask any questions in the comment section below. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you can be reminded of any future videos that I post, okay? Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you guys in my next video. Kwaheri.